Hey, it's Don the Auction Professor here. Today I just thought I'd talk about some of the mistakes I've made and what you shouldn't be doing. My biggest mistake in the past was we just listed stuff just to list it, just to get inventory up. That, I think, is our number one mistake. It cost us money to list the items, and now we've had to go back through, even sometimes a couple of years later after we originally listed them, and then reassess auctions, big, large amounts of them. When you've got, 30,000 plus auctions up right now, we've got 34,000 and a few hundred beyond that. But when you have that many up, you're going to miss a bunch where you need to fix them, adjust them. So that's what we've been doing a lot of. If I would have been able to do it over again, I just wouldn't have listed those. I would have researched everything. And that's literally our second biggest mistake, is not researching enough information. Just because something was cheap, we might have bought it. Just because it looked like a good deal, we bought it. It's not always a good deal. Everything that you see, even if it's just something really cheap, everything's not worth a ton of money. So if you see something really cheap, like a whole bunch of something for 10 bucks, they may not sell for anything more than 5 cents. You just never know. So I try to look up everything if I haven't seen it before. So I'm constantly looking on my phone when we're out or we're shopping or whatever we're doing. Even at the grocery store, I find stuff that we can turn around and resell, or, Sam's Club, or whatever the case may be. A third biggest mistake would be not having the best photos up. So some of our photos are just not up to par. I would have never listed items with the photos we used back when we first started. We would have just not listed them, or I would have taken better photos. We have better cameras now, so that's a big plus. So we're able to obviously take much better photos. We have better lighting, the whole works. So again, that's really something that you need to look out for, is your photo quality. Whether you're zooming in and showing a better area of the image, don't show distant shots. Just show the image. Don't put anything else clutter in the image. Just white background, nothing more. That's all you need. Just highlight the item itself, nothing more. Don't add other objects in that aren't included or anything along that line. Especially if you plan on cross-listing them on Amazon. That's just not going to work, because you can't do that. So much percentage of the image actually has to be the object with just a plain white background. So make them all the same so you can cross-promote them anywhere you want. And that's the best bet. Do it from the start, and it'll save you a world of pain. Titles are another area that we've messed up on. Not paying attention to what we should be using in the title, not running, tests and stuff in the past. Obviously, in the last 2 years or so, we've fixed that, addressed that, and now we haven't moved back. We know which areas to put less information in, and which areas that need more information in for the title. Some areas, less information is going to sell them a lot quicker, and you'll get a lot more views. Some cases, twice as many views you might get, because people want to do it, especially in the collectibles and vintage items and music items and records, and some of the books will do that too, but not for the most part. But for the most part, books, you need to have a specific edition and all that kind of information. Magazines as well, you don't need to have all the information in, and depending on the topic, obviously. So those are 4 of our mistakes. Another one of our mistakes was not putting a correct pricing on the items. If you're not pricing them right, they're not going to sell. Some items we used to put really super high prices on, and other items we just would blow them out too quickly. They would sell immediately. You need to figure out a midpoint there where you can get them up for a decent price, make a good profit on them, but you're not overpricing them. It's taken us a few years to get to the best pricing avenue for each area that we list in. Sometimes you could list them too cheap, and they sell immediately when you put them up. Sometimes they do sell immediately when you put them up, but it's not because they're too cheap, it's just because the right person was on at the right time. So you need to be able to determine which the case is, whether it was a person just happened to be on, or you're off on the prices or something. So for us, we've researched everything. I try to look up everything, and things change from year to year, so you need to double check those prices on a yearly basis. So again, our biggest mistakes are obviously bad photos, bad titles, just listing items to get inventory up. Cheap items aren't always great. Cheap items aren't always great. You've got to have the research. So if you're not doing the research, you're gonna kill yourself. And if you're pricing them bad, you're not going to get the good sales either. So people aren't going to buy from you if everything is too high. In some areas, you can set the prices. We do have some areas that we are like the key seller in that whole category on eBay. We're probably the number 1 or number 2 in a couple categories. But they're small categories, so you don't want to kill the market either. So you need to find a middle point where you can get the right price that it's going to sell at. So these are just areas that everybody's going to make mistakes on when you're first learning. Again, you need to get the right price for the item. You need to make sure the photo's right for the item. And again, try photos that you can use, that it can be used on any site you list them on. That's your key. White background, nothing more. Zoom in just the object, no extra space, as much as you can eliminate, cut out the space. Titles, again, you need to correct the titles. Don't put too much information. Limit to what you have if the case warrants it. Certain categories, if you list less information in the title, you're going to sell them quicker and get more views. Other areas, if you don't list enough information, you're not going to sell them and you're not going to get the views. So you just need to know which categories you need to address that way. And then again, research. You always have to do the research. If you're not doing enough research and just buying things because they're cheap, you're going to end up wasting a lot of money and a lot of time listing items that just aren't worth listing. I don't mess with stuff for a couple bucks. It's just not worth my time, effort, or anything. The return on the investment's not good. I mean, obviously, if you buy it thinking it's worth a lot of money and then you lower it down just to get rid of it, that's a different story. But you should have researched the item in the beginning so you wouldn't have bought it. And then you should also have a point where you're not going to buy or mess with items that are below a certain dollar point. I mean, if it's $5 and it's a quick turn and you can get 1,000 of them, you know they're going to sell, that's a different story. But if it's a $5 and, you know, only 1 out of 3 sells within the first year, it's just not worth it. Again, those are mistakes that we made, things that you shouldn't be doing, things that we did and learned the hard way and wasted a lot of time and money on. So things you should look at and address when you're listing and getting into eBay. Those issues are key. So again, Don the Auction Professor, hopefully you learned at least something. Please hit the like button if you enjoyed it. Tell a friend, and thanks, and have a good day.